I started my day off with overnight oats parfait. So what you do is you make this the evening before and then you leave it in the fridge overnight. I used oats, then I added some chia seeds, some plant milk, some water. Then I covered the jar with the lid and gave that a shake. Now if you leave it in the fridge, it will go from this to this overnight. As you can see, it's pretty creamy. So I scooped out half just to make it look prettier. I added some coconut yogurt, some strawberries, some blueberries, a little bit of cinnamon. Then I added the rest of the oats. And once again some coconut yogurt and the berries, and then a sprinkle of cinnamon. This was so good, very refreshing as well because it's cold and perfect for these warmer times that we're having, and it hit the spot just right. Okay, I'm just gonna eat it now. Then I had this turmeric chai tea from Yogi Tea and it said, "Life is a gift, experience is the beauty." Then I finally hopped on the banana bread bandwagon that's been going on during this quarantine. I did not have any coconut sugar, so I did find a few recipes that used dates, which I did have. So I just kind of went ahead and made up my own recipe. So I soaked up some dates. Then I preheated the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. I added my soaked dates to my food processor. Then I added some plant milk, apple cider vinegar, and then I gave that a blitz. I scraped down the sides, and then I mixed it again. And my bananas weren't that ripe, but they were okay. So I used 3 bananas, mashed that up on a plate, and then added the mashed banana to the date mixture. Gave that a stir. For the dry ingredients, I used some buckwheat flour, the rest of my almond flour, some baking powder, some cinnamon, a crack of salt, and then I mixed everything together. I added the wet mixture to the dry mixture. I would have added vanilla extract, but I was out, so there's that. When I tasted, I felt like it wasn't sweet enough, so I added some agave nectar, and then I stirred that in. And then later I added some almond butter, but honestly I don't really think that that was necessary. I was just going with it, so almond butter it is. Then I used 2 of these glass containers to pour the mixture in. In the left one I added some walnuts and then I mixed that in. And the right one I added some fresh banana and then I mixed that in as well. I baked this in the oven for about 50 minutes. I did not film this, but I did add some oats on top while they were in the oven. And this is how they came out. They were so good. They were dense, but still moist and very light. Still chewy. I don't know, it was such a weird but good consistency. Then for lunch, I had this burrito lunch plate. I started by cooking some rice, then grabbing all my fruits and vegetables that I wanted. I added some vegan mince to a frying pan with some taco seasoning and some salsa sauce. I didn't add any oil because I didn't feel like it needed any oil. Then I added some mushrooms, and once everything was done, I took a warm wrap, some salsa sauce, some coconut yogurt, some lime juice. This then acts kind of like a sour cream. I added some avocado, and then all my veggies, which were yellow bell pepper, red onion, cucumber, Then I added some rice, the mince mixture, and then I rolled my wrap up. And I also added some leftovers on the side. This was a really good lunch. Looking at this now, I'm like, oh yes. And then as a kind of snacky thing, I had watermelon BCAAs, which is just a very sweet watermelon taste that you add to cold water, and it was really refreshing and exactly what I needed at that time because I was really hot. For dinner, I made my own falafels. For this, I used canned chickpeas, some fresh parsley, spinach, arugula, garlic cloves, half a red onion, and tahini. I added everything to my food processor. I would omit the arugula because it's a lot of greens for next time, and I would also take off the leaves from the parsley and just leave out the stems. I added some cumin, salt and pepper, and then blitzed that up. Then here I'm adding buckwheat flour, olive oil, and baking powder. And then I'm giving that a blitz as well. This yields about 8 patties. So I would say 2 to maximum 3 servings. So as you can see, they look really chunky and have a lot of texture to them, which is exactly what I wanted. I added a lot of coconut oil to the pan. Then I added the patties and let that fry for about 4 minutes on each side. As you can see, they look really nice and golden, but as you can also see, they are kind of crumbling. And as you will be seeing here, I was so disappointed, but they just kind of fall apart easily. And this is why you do not use canned chickpeas. These were the ones that I baked in the oven. Here you have a side-by-side comparison. It kind of looks, it doesn't look as crispy. Then for my salad, I just mixed in some lime juice, massaged it in, added some cucumber, 2.5 of the falafels because I already munched on 1.5. I added some alfalfa sprouts, hummus, and flax seeds. There's a lot of room for improvement on these falafels, but they were quite alright. Thank you once again for watching. Bye!